I was a boy. We were working on a car. Nothing about it was do or die. It was a bolt, a bracket, or a thing that could have waited or been done twice with no harm to anyone. But my father was impatient. The impatience in a grown man is an ugly thing, and aimed at a child, it is a demeaning one. He said it that afternoon. He had said it before, and he would say it again. I am confident he forgot that he ever said it by the time dinner came around. I have carried it most of my life. And that's the strange arithmetic of the tongue. The words that shape a person are almost never speeches, the sit-down talks, the birthday card wisdom, the lesson a father sits up preparing for his children. Those roll off. It's the throwaway line that lodges, the aside, the correction hissed over a task that didn't even matter. Here's what that one sentence built in me, brick by careless brick. A man who starts things and does not finish them, because somewhere underneath, a voice I never chose still says it has to be done right, and you'll only mess it up. So why begin? And if you begin, why finish when finishing just hands the world a completed thing to find fault with? My father thought he was talking about a car. What he didn't know that he was writing an operating system I'd run for the next 40 years. In this series, I keep coming back to the ledger. You fund an account in your children, whether you mean to or not. There's a part that should stop every father cold. It's that some of the largest entries in that account were made by a version of you that was not paying attention, and you have no memory of making them. My father could not have told you that sentence ever existed, but I built a life around it. You can't apologize for those. That's what makes them different from the debt I wrote about before. The apology you still owe, at least you know you owe it. And this one is worse. It's the entry you don't know you made in a currency you can't remember spending, sitting on the books of a person who will never bring it up, but will consult it every time they stand at the edge of something and decide not to jump. And because I was the boy at that car, I know I've been the father at the other end of it. 3 sons, 30-some years, tired, rushed, trying to keep a morning on schedule. I said things. Take it easy here. Let me. You're doing it wrong. That landed on boys and stayed. I don't know which ones. I never will. And they won't tell me, partly because they may not know either. They just feel a certain way when a certain kind of task comes up, and they don't trace it to some ordinary Tuesday when their father lost patience and forgot it before the dishes were done. Scripture saw this coming. Fathers, it says, do not embitter your children, or they will become discouraged. Discouraged. Of all the words to choose, not wounded, not angry, discouraged. The specific flat gray that settles over a person that has quietly concluded they'll only mess it up, so why try? Paul knew what a careless house does to a small spirit. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, says the proverb. Not influence, not even mood. Death and life. But despair isn't a plan, and I didn't write this to hand anyone a grievance against a dead man. I wrote it because the account is still open on my end, and because I finally learned something at my age that I didn't know at 30. You can pay this down, not by finding the old sentences, those are gone. You pay it down by finishing things. Every started and completed thing, however small, is a payment on a debt my father never knew he charged me. So lately, I finished things. It's the most quietly defiant thing I do. And Riley is 2.5. When she is elbow deep in something and getting it wrong, shoes on the wrong feet, the puzzle piece jammed where it will not go, my father's exact voice arrives in my mouth, fully formed, 40 years old. Let me do it. We can't be here all day. It would be so easy to say, and it would be so efficient. So I don't. I'll let her mess it up. I let her be here all day. Because the entry I'm making isn't the shoes going on the right feet. It's a small girl growing up certain all the way down that she is someone who finishes what she starts, and that the man who loved her most was never once in a hurry to take it out of her hands. The smallest words leave the deepest entries. So watch your mouth at the workbench. She'll forget the task. You will never forget how it felt to be trusted with it. The Daily Deposit is a series about what fatherhood actually costs and what it's building. It assumes you're already paying. The only question is whether you're paying attention.